Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. We've got playa props here for you on a Thursday. 5 games in the NBA tonight to choose from, and the kids are on a heater. Take a little 8-1 in the last couple days here. Had a nice little bonus pick yesterday. Gave Brad Beal out with 2 plays, so feeling good about these props for sure. Going to look to keep it going here with you guys. Also want to make sure to subscribe to that channel so you can check out the best bets. We've got some sides and totals in the other episode, and we're bringing both of these to you each and every weekday this season, so continue to follow along. And also head to the description of this video. You're going to find a link to the email newsletter. Make sure you're signed up for that. We're sending it out every Friday. Nice and simple. In your inbox on Friday mornings, you get a look at everything we've got coming up on thelines.com. And you're going to get that bonus parlay pick that Nate and I are making in the NBA each and every Friday to help you guys get some plus money there on some same game parlays that we're putting together. 2-0 on the season there with our 2 bets so far, up 2.5 units. So feeling good there. Hope to see you guys in there. But let's go ahead, keep the heater going here, Nate, and get into your first play a prop for the night.
Giannis to get 30, which is going to be plus money now at some books because they've actually bumped it down to 28.5 with juice on. There's just zero rim protection here for the Lakers with no Jackson Hayes. Also, no individual matchup with no Rui or Bron. I guess DFS is going to start at Giannis after missing the last game, and that's fine. I mean, good luck, man. The last 2 without Jackson Hayes, the Lakers are suddenly allowing the second most free throw attempts, limiting assists, which indicates that you don't have to pass out. That's why we're just taking points with Giannis. He should be able to get right in there. I mean, they're also allowing the 4th most field goal attempts at the rim and 4th most fast break points. This is exactly what you want with a Giannis prop, not to mention the situation, which is they're coming off a brutal loss, just like one of the worst beats of the season. If you had the Bucks as far as a better, and certainly from their perspective, it's a 3rd straight loss. It was to a rival. It puts them now in the tied with Indy, right, in the playoff hunt, and now lights a fire under Giannis, who only averaging 29 even after a loss and here in his last 8. But like specifically, no shots in the 4th quarter against Indy, 24% usage. It's clearly going to be a mention of like, let's get him going, let's run everything through him, and really turn him loose. He averages 4 more points per game at home versus on the road this season, for what that's worth. But I think most importantly, like facing the Lakers, seeing that uniform seems to gas him up as well. 38.7, 12.5, and 7.5 the last 6 meetings against the Lakers, with Anthony Davis playing in all of those games. And that has led to a ton of assists, most recently in the last 2, 23 assists for Giannis. He's still getting the points, though. But like I'm saying, like with no rim protector, there's no reason for him to pass out. He's just going to be in his bag or going all the way to the rim, and probably pretty pissed off getting Milwaukee the win. So I'm totally fine adding the money line here or an adjusted or just Milwaukee on the spread 6-7, because it's quite possible, as you mentioned, that Luka just sits here and waits for the back-to-back tomorrow in Denver.
Yeah, I could easily see that for sure. I mean, either way, it does sort of line up to be a nice Giannis game here. I don't really know. It's interesting because like the way that the Lakers have been playing defense, they're very good against centers. Is Giannis the center? I don't think so. Like, I don't know. But the other thing here is like no Jackson Hayes is a massive, massive deal because not because he's a great one-on-one defender. He's a very good athletic help defender. And if he's not available to help double down on those centers, then the number 1 defense versus centers, the Lakers, in the last 10 games, 15 games even, might not be the number 1 defense against a guy like Giannis going down low. And Giannis doesn't give you an opportunity to double team him. He's not playing back to the basket, backing guys down. He's steamrolling you and knocking you down with his shoulder as he gets there. So like, I don't know what you're going to do. DFS, good, God bless, man. I hope you got the ice tub ready for after this game because you're about to get pummeled in this one. But let's go in this game again and take Austin Reeves. There's no way this is available. I think it's 11.5 now. It opened at 9.5. This was totally wrong. I like an over for Reeves's rebounds and assists. Opened at 9.5. Looks like it's 11.5 now. Let's make that super clear that it's 11.5 because 9.5 was wrong. Like if Bron and Luka were out there, 8.5, 9.5. That would be where I would price it. And at least one of them isn't there. Like 5-1 on a Reeves like double or 3-1. Like that stuff is all very in play to me. If Luka plays, we just saw him have 18 rebounds and assists combined in this last game. I think this should maintain that level of respect, I guess, for his rebounding and assists. But if you look at him without Bron on the season, right? Like now it's been 4 games without Bron, 1 with Luka, 3 without. over in all of them, averaging 17 rebounds and assists per game in those 4 games. It wasn't his team last game. It was still Luka's team, but he was horrible. And I know that because he couldn't make a shot because I bet on him, but he was awesome everywhere else, right? And I think he's still going to maintain that. I'm not saying he's not going to score tonight. He may have to, and maybe he'll shoot better than he did last game. But one thing is for sure is he's going to have either the most or the second most touches on this team. And if there is no Luka, it's going to be most with a bullet, right? Which is what we've seen. He got up to 95 touches per game in those previous 3 games without LeBron. All right. Now, the one with Luka, not quite up at 90, but still up at like 75, 76 touches in that game. So he's still like the second most important person. And when you take him in this matchup, like, yeah, the Bucks are good actually limiting assists. They're good at limiting rebounds. It's just volume here, man. Like the Lakers are still trying to maintain this thing down the stretch, maintain a top 4 seed in the West if they could. And that's going to be tough without Bron. But if Luka is sitting out, then Austin's going to play 38 minutes and touch the ball a million times. If Luka's playing, Austin's the second guy there, and he's still going to have the opportunity to have the ball in his hands a ton and play down low as opposed to playing up top in terms of guarding guys. So he's going to be in good position for those boards as well.
Yeah, I almost hope Luka plays for both these bets because, you worry about the blowout factor.
Yeah,
for sure. If the Lakers, if they, the rest of those guys see like, okay, yeah, we're down 10, Luka's not playing, like we got a game tomorrow night, like let's pack it in. But I don't think Reeves really has that kind of quit in him. If he's out there for sure, yeah, he's filling it up. And it is still a good price here on the 11.5, even though it's moved up, and it is plus 2,800 for the triple double. If you want to go for what would be the third of his career for this season. He has hit that. So certainly possible with him doing everything now for them. Let me take under for Trey Murphy, 24.5 points and assists. It is minus 110 at MGM. Look, Zion is just absolutely dominating the ball right now. That has really plummeted with the assists for Trey. You look at his last 10 with Zion, 19.5 points per game. Yes, but the last 4, only 2.5 assists. The last 3, only he's 5th on the team in potential assists. And some of that has to do with Bruce Brown now entering the starting lineup. He had 5 dimes last game, right? He only had 4 fewer passes than Trey, occupying a lot of the same roles. And Trey maybe going to be more of a spot up shooter and less of a creator now that they have another creator in there. You look at the last 4 without Zion Williams, Trey's averaging 24 and 6.3 dimes. So even with that, though, because Zion has mostly played because there mostly haven't been back-to-backs, he's gone under this prop in 9 of his last 13. And it's Orlando, a very, very tough matchup for him, for most guys. But his last 4 against Orlando, 15 points, under 2 assists per game. That's playing 32 minutes. It's yes, with a little bit less of a central role if BI or whoever was still on the Pels at that time. But he's not a big facilitating role right now. Orlando is still limiting spot ups. They might be giving up a ridiculously high percentage on 3, but they're 4th limiting threes in their last 7. 2nd limiting assists, 2nd limiting points to small forwards in particular. So still enough of a matchup, even though you're talking over for the game. For me, just banking on these other guys creating more than Trey to say he's going to stay under with the points and assists.
Yeah, I'm glad we've got 2 unders for our last one here. We should make very, very clear. The norm is about 53% of unders hit, 47% of overs hit in the NBA. I think we're at about 55-45 right now since March started, was the trend that I just saw on a different network. But either way, I like unders a lot right now, and I think this is a good look for one as well against the Magic. Trey Murphy needs to be set up. He is not a number 1 option, and Zion's not really like this point guard that's orchestrating things. He's just a pummel you over. And if you want to bring 3 guys to him, then he's going to dime up off of that. That's how Zion runs an offense. Trey Murphy needs like an orchestrated, you do this and be here, and we're going to make sure you get put in a good position. And he doesn't have anybody to set him up. So love and under for him. Definitely be weary of overs for Trey Murphy the rest of the season. Please, everybody. Chris Middleton, another great under here. I'm going to go under 3.5 assists. Just hit this with Bub Carrington the other day, 4.5. He went under. And now that was Chris Middleton out in that, or I believe he came back. Either way, Middleton's back in this one, and he's at a limit of 25 minutes. He's now played 4 games on the season with the Wiz with Jordan Poole. Poole missed another 3 of the games that he played with Washington, and Poole being out there is a big deal. So in those games, he is averaging 5.5 potential assists per game in those 5 with Jay Poole. He got very lucky to get 5 assists on 4 potentials, and then 5 assists on 7 potentials. It ain't gonna happen again. Like that's out of the realm of realism for him to continue that level of like 70% to 80% of his potentials turning into regular assists. So let's start there. Other thing here is this Detroit defense is incredible for assists. They are going to limit everything that you want to do up top. If Chris Middleton wants to be a primary ball handler and be effective against Detroit, you're going to have to score. And he's not that Chris Middleton at all anymore, which is not that he was ever get into the paint and take you to the bucket guy, but he could at least outsize guys that were too small to guard him and shoot over them, or be too quick if centers or power forwards wanted to guard him. And he just doesn't have that advantage anymore, which is a big reason. That's how you really do get the stuff here against Detroit, is you've got to figure out how to get into the lane and work from there. But even when you get into the lane, they're swarming to a degree, but they're still not doubling. They're playing that drop D. It's the center that's coming up, and Alex Sarr ain't exactly standing in the dunker spot for Chris Middleton. So he's going to have to be spraying this out against a top 6 defense against the spot up shot or the catch and shoot in general. So I'm just not sure where he's going to get these dimes from. His passes made are down to like 25 a game. He's not the same dude that's just like orchestrating the second unit for the Bucks, where he's got Bobby Portis on his left and he's got Gary Trent on his right. It ain't like that anymore for him. So he's going to be playing with the starters for probably 20 minutes. I don't know why he'd play more than the 20, 25 at the max is all he's playing. So I don't like him to get the potential assists, and so I don't like him to get 4.
Yeah, I don't like this Wizards offense, so that tracks for sure. 18.5 PRA also seems kind of high given the 23-minute projection here. The Wizards are rolling like a 10 deep rotation here, where they put Middleton out with the starters and Smart out with the backups, and say like, hey, teach these young kids something. And Middleton's like, what do you want me to do? Like I can take a mid range, but like this is a long way from our championship Bucks offense. Like I don't have anybody to work with here. So the assists in particular are a good fade, I think, because Detroit is so disciplined right now that they should just stay home on everybody else.
Give me that 10-1 Pistons in the playoffs, baby. Are we sure Kyle Kuzma is a better, like, why did they make that trade for the Bucks? I don't know, maybe because Middleton can't stay healthy, but yeah, to your point, like if he doesn't want to take on this, this educational role where he's teaching these young Bucks, I don't know. Poole might be a good under as well, by the way. It looks like it's just 25 minutes for Poole, and we get 23 minutes for Smart, 23 minutes for Middleton. And it's like, that's all we're doing at the end of the season here for Washington. Poole probably a pretty good under on the PA as well, something to that effect. But that's all the time we have for you in this one. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that channel. Looking to keep this play a prop streak alive as we move forward into Thursday. So until we see you next, happy betting.